7. We'll set the stage, meaning start, 2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions beyond.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Good Time Trading. And yesterday and the day before, I was feeling not so great and couldn't really look at the charts, but I'm back, good health, and hopefully lots more good days in the future, and I hope to do daily videos from now on. But anyway, following up with the last one, I was right again on my call, and that makes every video I've ever put out. I have predicted the right direction of Bitcoin and been pretty close at the same time. But anyway, this is looking at all the top cryptos, and as you can see, it's a sea of green, and it's the weekend, so who knows. But following up with that rocket ship, you're like, why did he show us that? Well, today, Elon and SpaceX is going to put 2 guys into space, so definitely check that out later on. Anyway, jumping into the fear and greed, we are at a 48, which is neutral, so really not a whole lot going on. Also, we're in a pattern that I will get into in a minute. And then so here's the stock flow, and I'm gonna be checking in on this pretty regular just because it is calling for 100k Bitcoin. Not that I'm calling for 100k Bitcoin, but this guy put a bunch of fancy math and stuff into this. And who am I to say he's wrong? But there is a little bit of a flaw in all the Bitcoin hopium, and that is that everybody thinks there's only like 17 million Bitcoin out there. And once you buy all that up, it's going to put the price to the moon, right? Well, there's Bitcoin that can be bought and traded. So even if you buy Bitcoin, you're not necessarily messing with the actual Bitcoins. They could be like fake Bitcoins that are stored on the exchange, and they just use somebody else's real Bitcoin. So I don't really know how this will work just because they got like backed and all the other crazy stuff, but hey, it might happen. So anyway, it's calling for 10k by next month. So if we do break to the upside and break past 11.4, and we should find that out by July, according to this chart, then I do think it would push up to new highs past 20k. But moving on from there, and if we stick around, and I plan on doing YouTube for like the next 10, 20, 30 years, who knows? So hopefully we'll get to see Bitcoin price at a million by by 2025. So we'll see, guys. I'll be here for you. And then, so looking at Bitcoin, this is Bitstamp on the daily. And I did change my color theme to pink and blue. So let me know in the comments if you like it or not. And if you don't, I'll change it back. And also let me know which stock you want to look at and cryptocurrency. And I'll be doing that in the next video. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new. So I went ahead and drew in, and the white line is the 200 simple moving average also. And I went ahead and drew in these symmetrical triangles on Bitcoin. And because right now, that is what we're in. And the fear and greed is neutral. It's the weekend, and price action usually goes the opposite way of where it went the week before. So we were bullish last week, and CME options expired on Friday, and that's why I closed my position on Thursday, I believe. But we exited. I exited my long at 9,400, somewhere in that region, and so yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it was a good move or not. But looking at this, every time it's in a symmetrical triangle, it usually breaks to the downside. And so we got this example. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, examples to the downside, and then we got this outlier. This one broke to the upside, but it did end up coming back down. So yeah, not really looking good. We're in the symmetrical triangle, but that doesn't really mean anything until I think if this line gets took out to the downside, we could be then we could be talking about, you know, doomsday targets. But until this guy gets broke, I really wouldn't be looking for that. But it should come to a head by June 3rd. So pretty soon, I think we'll be getting a resolution on this. And even if you drew it like right here, which would still work, you know, the latest June 7th probably until we get resolution on it. But moving on, I'll go ahead and delete that. Okay, so looking at the BitMEX funding and premium index, it is went positive, and every time it goes positive, that is usually a good sell. So just like right here, it went positive for a large amount of time, and it went to the downside, and now we're over here positive. So could we go to the downside? Pretty likely. It's looking like. And then we got our hash ribbons indicator, which has started capitulating. So until we get the buy signal on it, which will be the blue dot, and I'm going to be checking it every day until we get it. So when we do get the buy signal, I do think it'll have a leg up, but maybe we come back to 8,000 and double bottom, or 7,600 before a push up. That's what I'd like to see. And then our oscillators would be reset and probably be in good shape. But throwing on our momentum oscillators, and so let's throw on our moving averages here. So looking at the daily, we got the death cross of the 10 and 21 right here. See if we can get that a little closer so you can see it. Okay, so every time that happens, we got a death cross right here. It did pump it up into the 21. So I do think we could come down and then pump the 21 at 91.50 is what I'm kind of thinking there. But let's go down to the monthly, which we'll be getting in one day. Another iteration on this guy. So really nothing to be seen on anything. And it is the weekend, so like I said, it's going to be hard to say which way it's going, up or down. But we did break out of this trend line on RSI, so could be bullish. But I think Monday will be where we get some clarification on this. And the weekly is looking like it bounced the 50 read, which is bullish. I do think we'll end up coming down to this weekly 10 simple right here at and that's the yellow one, and that is at 7,900. And we did get the 4-day red dot, but it's looking like that's going to be a non-event. And we got the 2-day green dot, so it's looking bullish, but Bitcoin loves to fake people out in these triangles at a pretty heavy point of resistance, and that is coming down from 13K. This guy. So until we get above this trend line, I don't think there's any move to be had, because you're risking buying the top on a huge dump. If it did top out here, but if it does break out, I'd be looking for monthly volume that's been on a steady decline right here to explode to the upside. So we get an explosion up on volume, then I would look for that big breakout to happen. But until then, I think more sideways, and you can kind of see, what I'm talking about. So if you draw your lines like this, I mean, we could just be going sideways for a while in here for a couple years, honestly. I mean, if you really extended these guys out, it could be a pretty boring time in crypto for the next 2 years. Worst case scenario. So sometime in the next 2 years, I think we'll have a move. But getting back down to the daily, we did get the green dot, and it's looking more or less fine, but we got volatility still contracting, meaning the move hasn't happened. And the 12-hour does look like it's rolling down right here. Go check out the 6-hour. So it does look like you're putting in some hidden bearish divergence from this point and this point on RSI on the 6-hour. So I do think that that'll push us down to at least 91.50, and then we'll have to look at it from there if it holds or breaks. So I do think 91.50 gets hit now that I look at it. But don't hold it against me, guys, if we break to the upside, because, hey, I have been right every time, but nobody's perfect. But we also kind of got like a sloppy inverse head and shoulders on the 2-hour, but I don't really know about this one. I do think the moves kind of already happened for it when this was a head and shoulders from here to here to here. But we got to keep in mind before we get to Moon Boy here, because we are realists on this channel, I would hope. Not moon boys, but we do want to see the price go to the moon. We do have a head and shoulders on the macro, and that is right shoulder, head, left shoulder. So if this does play out, I'd look for a huge dump down to the probably to the weekly 200 at 5,900, but we'll have to see. We'll have to at least break 91.50 before that becomes a actual target. Jumping back to the 6-hour, we are looking good as long as we're above this yellow 10 simple. On the 6-hour, I think we'll be okay. And you can see the 2 hours getting resistance on our green and purple moving averages right here. So I do think that it'll come down right here. So yeah, that's about it. And then on SPY, on the monthly, we'll get it tomorrow. And whatever it does, I think is gonna pretty much dictate what happens in the S&P. But with all the riots and looting and stuff going on, I do think this one comes down next week. And then this is a crazy one, guys, but DraftKings, if I can find it, is absolutely on fire right now if you want a good traditional stock to look at. But I do think it's getting hot, but since March 12th, it's up 272%. So we know stocks only go up on this channel, so hell, we might get $50 DraftKings soon. But anyways, guys, stay safe out there. Go watch the launch of the rocket ship. Like and subscribe if you're new. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. See you guys.